So let's talk about the power of music, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. Forget the radio, forget the latest streaming hits. We're going to dive into a kind of gift that doesn't just play a tune. It turns someone's entire life into a melody. Yeah, right from the get-go, you can tell this isn't about platinum records. It's about a song for the quiet heroes in our lives. A song for a golden wedding anniversary, for that couple who still dances in the kitchen, or a song that makes a grown man just break down at Christmas, because for the first time, he feels truly, deeply heard. So, why a song? Out of all the gifts in the world, why does music work in a way that almost nothing else can? Well, it turns out it's all about how our brains are wired. You know that feeling, right? You're just driving along, maybe stuck in traffic, and a certain song comes on, and bam, suddenly you're not in traffic anymore. You're back at that school dance or on a first date, or you're just remembering someone you really miss. That's music doing its thing. And this is the key right here. While words have to be processed and understood by the logical part of your brain, music, it just hits you. It's like a direct line to our feelings and our memories. It's an emotional shortcut that doesn't even bother to ask for permission. Okay, and this is where it gets really cool. Imagine taking that incredible universal power of music and channeling all of it, every last drop, into a single track created for just one person. That's the whole idea we're digging into today. So how does something like this even work? Well, there's a UK-based company called Songforyou, and they've taken this idea and turned it into a surprisingly simple service. They literally transform personal stories into professionally produced songs. And the process itself? It's really straightforward. You basically just share the details, the good stuff, the funny stories, the heartfelt memories. You pick the occasion, and then, in about 3 days, a completely unique piece of music just arrives. Now, here's the most important part. We're not talking about some generic, templated song where they just drop a name in. No way. The team writes every single song completely from the ground up, weaving the person's actual name and their specific stories right into the lyrics. And to make sure they get it absolutely perfect, they have this process they call story verification. It's a final check done by a real person who goes line by line, comparing what you submitted to the finished lyrics. They literally won't send it until they know your story is told right. I mean, that's a level of care you just don't see very often. All right, so we've seen how the song gets made, but what about the person on the other end? What actually happens when they press play for the very first time? And this quote from the source material, it just says it all, doesn't it? That sudden dawning realization, that moment of, wait a second, this isn't just for me, it's about me. It's this unique, priceless feeling that you just can't find on a store shelf. What's so amazing is how these songs capture all the little things, It's the really specific details, that terrible golf swing, the legendary dad jokes, that disastrous family story about a lawnmower ending up in a pond. That's what makes the song so powerful. It's the texture of a real life set to music. And really, this gets to the heart of everything. The best gifts have nothing to do with the price tag. They're about showing someone that you pay attention, that you see them for who they are, you notice the things that make them special, and you wanted them to know that all of that, it matters. So what is it about this kind of gift that gives it such a lasting impact? Why does it stick around? Well, it's that combination we've been talking about. It takes the power of a really personal story and smashes it together with the undeniable emotional force of music. And what you get is something that doesn't just get put on a shelf and forgotten. It gets put on repeat. It becomes a permanent part of that person's soundtrack. And for anyone wondering about the practical side of things, it's actually super accessible. We're talking a 72-hour turnaround time, a starting price of under £25, and, according to the source, a perfect 5-star review record. It makes a really profound gift surprisingly easy to give. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. As you go about your day, just think about the people in your life for a second, their stories, their quirks, their quiet little triumphs, and ask yourself this: who in your life deserves to hear their own story sung back to them?